Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Waifu Belector, and today I'm gonna talk about Xbox because despite the pending Activision Blizzard acquisition, despite acquiring Bethesda some years ago, Xbox still finds themselves in an awkward position, to put it lightly. So I just want to take a look and dig into it just a little bit. But before that, I will absolutely love you forever if you subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. And remember to like the video if you end up liking the video. Thanks in advance. Alright, let's talk about Xbox. Okay, so it's been apparent for quite a while that Xbox has kind of been struggling in terms of content and perceived value in the industry. And we will sort of get into that wider conversation, but what brings this all up in the first place currently is the rumor that Microsoft is in fact unhappy with the performance of Xbox. And this was brought up by popular and pretty reliable industry insider Jeff Grubb. And the basis of it seems to be the lack of first-party games being shipped by Xbox. And yeah, that all makes sense. We all know Xbox doesn't really have anything big to play in terms of exclusive titles, but we all keep going, oh, next year they're gonna have a bunch of shit. Then next year comes and they don't have anything, and we all go, oh, but next year. And thus far, it's just been this same cycle of broken promises and untapped potential. It's actually really hard to even justify having an Xbox right now. But here's the thing. We know Xbox is trying to play the long game here, where they take these losses and are sorta a non-factor in terms of competing with PlayStation, but only until they've bolstered Game Pass and made it such an undeniable part of the gaming zeitgeist and an irresistible bargain that Xbox does in fact become a competing entity again. Whether this is a good plan or not, I'm not intelligent enough or business savvy enough to say definitively. But as I said, it is the long game, and they are gonna be taking losses. It's why Game Pass is such a good deal. It's why Xbox keeps slapping games on their day one to the detriment of the game sales, because the plan is to get you into the ecosystem. Xbox obviously has the backing of Microsoft. They are owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft is one of the highest valued corporations in the world. So Xbox figures, we can keep making these less than profitable moves in order to try and gain fanfare for years and years, because the well of money is never going to run dry. And then when we have the loyal fanfare, we slowly raise the prices of things and make things that weren't profitable. And that's if they aren't already mitigating their past losses with the sheer volume of their newly accumulated fanfare. This has more or less been a crude version of my perception of their plan. But then, when I hear Microsoft is unhappy with Xbox, it makes me wonder if the higher-ups in Microsoft are even in on this long game plan at Xbox. And my guess would be that yes, they are. However, they've probably been misled about the timeline of these things. The way Xbox reports it is probably to make the long game seem a little less long, because if you say how long it'll actually be before you have substantial first-party titles, if you say how long it'll actually be before Game Pass stops hurting game sales, if you say how long it'll actually be before the theoretical fanfare gets accumulated, then guess what? The answer coming from Microsoft was almost certainly gonna be no. Do something that is more profitable much faster than that. And so Xbox and Phil Spencer and whoever else tell a little fib here, a little lie there to get the okay for the campaign, and when it's time to check in, because you said it wasn't gonna take as long as it truly was, you have excuses, you ask for forgiveness and just a little more time, and you kind of just do that until everything finally reaches the point that you said it would. Now, I'm just theorizing and making all that up. I made all that up, obviously. But if that is indeed the case, that would still imply that Phil Spencer and Xbox do believe in this long game plan, because lying to have it approved in the first place means that you think all will be forgiven and more when the full vision is realized, you know? But here's the thing. All these plans and long game stuff and all that, that's business talk. That's above our pay grade. How does the long game plan help me as a consumer who bought an Xbox in 2020 or even bought an Xbox more recently? How does that help me? The answer is, It doesn't. Long game be damned. As a consumer, all we know, all we see is that we have very few first-party or exclusive games to play and or brag about. If all I have is an Xbox, I'm missing out on God of War, Horizon, The Last of Us, Tears of the Kingdom, and the million Mario games, and what do I have? Promises of what's to come and Halo Infinite, which is a shadow of the Halo franchise. It's almost enough to beg the question that if this long game plan goes awry, will Xbox even continue to exist? And I know that's a bold question, but stick with me on this one, because while I do believe it's a question worth asking, ultimately I think Xbox would still exist in say like 10 years or something like that. Although, not necessarily as we know them currently. I could totally see them falling out of the hardware game altogether, and instead Xbox and or Game Pass being the app only. And at that point, I think we'd certainly see Xbox Game Pass appear on PlayStation consoles, because there'd be no fear of bolstering competing hardware. But you know, all of that is a very imaginative what if scenario for me. All in all, Xbox is just in a weird place, and they've been pretty disappointing this console generation if you ask me so far. My Xbox just kind of gathers dust, but once in every blue moon I boot it up to play some random ass indie title or something like that. You know, when Tunic dropped, I booted up the old Xbox. When Hi-Fi Rush dropped, I turned it on. And you know, speaking of Hi-Fi Rush, there are rumors that that game didn't do enough, didn't sell enough, and was disappointing for Xbox. However, Xbox refutes this and said that it was actually, quote, a breakout hit for them. So believe what you will there. I choose to believe the latter. I don't really want to see games do bad in most cases, and Hi-Fi Rush was a great game, so it would suck if it turned out that, you know, it didn't really sell well. But Xbox is saying it's a breakout hit, so you know, I choose to believe that, huh? But yeah, anyway, man, how do you guys feel about Xbox? Do you have an Xbox? And if so, how do you feel about that purchase? Do you have Game Pass? How do you feel about that? Are you regretting any of it? Or maybe you're not regretful, but you know, a little disappointed. I think that's how I feel. I'm glad I have the Xbox, kinda, but I wish I had more of a reason to turn it on, you know? Play some fucking games and whatnot. Crossing my fingers for Starfield. I'm also gonna check out Redfall when that drops. I wanna play my Xbox, man. I really do, but I need a reason. Alright. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did in fact like it, and subscribe to the channel for more video game videos every week. But until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I'm rooting for Xbox. Come on, guys. Goodbye.